What's up, Benchminer? We are live. I apologize. I am not very tech savvy. I am learning as I go. Um, Special guest Jimmy Milliken. Thanks so much for coming on, boss.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure.
I got this draft pulled up on the other screen here. Liking it so far. What are your thoughts?
It's been very there's been some surprises, that's for sure. Um, but there's been some that we kind of figured it was going to happen, right?
Hmm.
First pick, being a Minnesota boy, Brandon Reller goes to Minnesota, right? And
Right.
uh, and I think that's a really good pick for them. Um, One of the biggest ones I believe is is the whole Tyson Kirby thing, right?
Hmm.
Uh, I don't I don't think it's a big surprise that he did go to Mid South. It's a big surprise that he asked to leave Binghamton.
Hmm.
So that's a huge thing as well. And Mid South and Mac Jansen's got a really good player. In Tyson Kirby, he could go there, be the assistant coach, player as well.
Hmm.
So that's a great pick. Now the first big surprising one for me is Oceanside with Cole Crowder. Cole Crowder's a big kid. He's 6'5", 6'6", 220. Can fight. Can put the puck in the net. I think that's a huge asset for them. It's just a little bit surprising that there was more players out there that probably a little bit better than he is. But that's the style they're trying to build out there, I guess. Right.
Right.
Um, Going fourth in the first round with Austin Elbrick, from Monroe. That's that's huge. Um, and so right now they just did another pick right quick, and the Fresno picked them up, and you can see that has a little bit to do with Parker Moscow out there, and Monroe, right? So you
Right.
can pick him up there, and then of course at the end of the first round you got Stockton and Rasmus Ask, another guy from Monroe. Um, so that's round one. I'd Right now they just did a third round Fresno, and they picked up Connor McNamara from Binghamton. So that is huge. That
Absolutely. He's a
that
stud
is
in Binghamton.
yeah, that is huge for Fresno. So now Fresno's actually got two goaltenders, two starters there with Dyson Skinner and McNamara. So Fresno's having a really good draft right now.
Absolutely. And I seen earlier when Andreas Johansson put out that statement about Tyson Kirkby, him going to Mid South was actually very interesting because, like you said in the statement there, he can kind of learn the business from the ground up. So
Yeah,
being under Mac Jansen, probably going to be player assistant coach, if I had to assume.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, Matt Jackson be a first time coach. You need a good assistant there with you to help you build the program and everything. Because again, it's your first time as well as a head coach. So Tyson Kirby is the perfect guy for that, I believe, and I think they did a great job picking him second.
Absolutely. And while we're on that subject, while they're still talking here a little bit about Connor,
Mm.
now currently the Empire is pretty much set in their division. They got 8 teams. The Continental is a little bit everywhere right now because they have, Mid South coming in, Minnesota, Fresno, Stockton, Oceanside, and Baton Rouge. Do you think, especially with these California teams, do you think we're going to have a division realignment where there may be 4 divisions?
I'm thinking there's going to be, from what I'm hearing, there's going to be. I think there's going to be an Appalachian League or division. I think there's going to be a Northern League with Binghamton, Port Huron, Motor City, Danbury, and then there's going to be a Southern, Mid South, Baton Rouge, Topeka, and Indiana. No, I think Indiana might be in the Appalachian League, and then I think
Okay.
there'll be Minnesota be the one that goes out to California in that division. So there'll be four in that division. So I'm thinking they're dividing them all in four, right?
Okay.
So, with one extra somewhere, right?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if there was going to be, Topeka's going to California or if it would be Minnesota. I think it's kind of close.
Yeah, I'm thinking Topeka's going to be with Mid South, Baton Rouge, Monroe. So
Okay.
that's kind of what I heard anyway, right? So, um, second round was a pretty good round as well. Um, Minnesota, they went with Chris Kerr. Uh, we had Chris Kerr in training camp last year with Baton Rouge. I mean, with
Hmm.
excuse me, Blue Ridge, and he's a really good goaltender. And I think Dave Smith seen that, and we talked about it. And and I think that's a good pick for Minnesota. And then, Mid-South still going with the Binghamton connection. They picked up Cervoni, the defenseman. So that's two Binghamton guys, excuse me, that's gone to Mid-South. And then San Diego picked up Cade Hanley, a defenseman, good stay-at-home defenseman from Carolina. And he's going to do well for him as well. Plus, he's got a handlebar mustache that goes well. He's going to do well. And as I stated before, Fresno picked up Dyson Skinner, from Port Huron. So they got two great goaltenders right now, which, that's how you win games, from the goaltending out. And last in the second round was Matt Garcia from Carolina. So, again, there's a few in there that's, kind of surprising, but, still a good solid round. So third round, you've seen another Blue Ridge player go off the board, and Jordan Rosenbaum, good stay-at-home defenseman, can put the puck in the net as well. So really good pick by Minnesota there. And then, of course, Mid-South did the Binghamton thing again with Emery. I can't remember last name, but Emery, what's his name? I'm sorry. He's a defenseman, really good, tough. And, again, like I said, just another Binghamton guy. And then Zach DeMarce went to went to San Diego. And then, of course, McNamara. Stockton picks is on the board right now. Of course, Scott Brand is out there now. And so they're making some good picks out there as well. Rasmus Ass and Garcia, two defensemen.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just waiting on the pick now. But yeah, I mean, like I said, this is what it's about, right? I like what the Fed's doing with doing the draft this year live. I think they're going in the right direction, and I hope to see more stuff like this from the Fed. So.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to see they're also adding, like a real broadcast. It's not just talking. They're adding some video. They're adding some stats. I do like this.
Right. Don Carter Jr. is heading.
Excellent pick.
Yep. And I had in some of my pre-work, I had a lot of players written down from out that way because, as a GM, you look and say, okay, this guy's from out, especially in California teams. This guy's from out this way. I know he'll come play for me out here, where if a guy from New York or whatever, they might not want to go all the way to California. So the one I had on my list to watch for from the Midwest was Dyson Skinner, which is already gone, Don Carter, Cade Hanley right now. So I still got a couple more that's on my list. I got Jamea from Colorado. I've got Chance Adrian, from Saskatchewan, Chase DeBari from California, and Zach Ross. So look for them as well.
Right, and as they roll here in the draft too, like you just said, as a former GM, and for those that are watching, is that really what you're looking for? Because if you own the rights to the player, chances are you have a better chance of them actually showing up to play if they live nearby, right?
Yeah, and there's two ways to look at it. So if I'm a California team, what I'm going to do is I might pick the best player, but that's a trading asset if he don't come, right? Or I can actually get a player who might come out. All right, so round 4, Minnesota has taken Matt Lentz. Matt was actually in with us last year in Blue Ridge training camp as well, and we traded him to Watertown. Matt, another good goaltender. So as you see, they got two goaltenders, Kerr and Matt Lentz in Minnesota. So they're looking for the right goaltending duo out in Minnesota. And again, Dave Smith, that we call, as we know, Smitty, he's helping Minnesota out with these picks. And, he did a lot of research, and, you see a Blue Ridge connection there, right? Because me and Smitty goes way back, and we talk a lot about the players and all that. So you see a lot of Blue Ridge with Minnesota. So, as I said, that's another goaltender off the board.
And I know we can't speak for every team here, but would you say that for the most part, those who are making these decisions, is it the GM and the head coach probably working together?
Sometimes it might just be the head coach is the head of hockey operations, and sometimes the GM don't get involved. it just depends on how you have your setup. So, I per se, like last season, myself and Wojtek Zemlika, the head coach of the Blue Ridge Bobcats, we talk about a lot of stuff. We go over a lot of stuff. He's a springboard. I kind of go over things with him, and he goes over things with me, and we just bounce stuff off each other. That's the way we work. Sometimes head coaches have all the say in everything. So it just depends on how your organization's set up, really.
Okay. Next pick is in round 4, pick 17. We got Chance Adrian going to Mid-South Monarchs.
Let me tell you something about Chance that I seen when he played with PD last year. Very big kid, not scared to drop the gloves, and can put the puck in the net. And I think he's a perfect fed player. And I think they are having a tremendous draft so far, Mid-South. So
yep, big body, 6 foot nothing on skates, probably 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, he's a little bit bigger than that. I think that's old. That he's like 6'1", probably 200 pounds. I mean, he's a bigger kid than what it has on there. But yeah, like I said, he's a really good pick for Mid-South. And so like I said, Mid-South is having a really good draft so far.
And I did hear the Oceanside is announcing a head coach tomorrow.
Right, correct. And I'm hoping he's the one that's picking his guys. Because as a head coach, that's what you want to do. You want to be able to pick your own guys.
And it's awesome to see that fans are tuning into this. I mean, they got over 1,500 viewers right now. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. So this Frankel kid, I want to say he's from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and they picked him from to go to San Diego. So there you go. Now with him being young, he may go, and that's going to be a great experience out there in California for these kids, right? So that's the thing that you got to look at as well. And I'm sure these guys do their research. If a guy has family, if a guy has kids and all that, they want to pack up all the kids and move them all the way out to California, right? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of stuff you have to look at as well as a GM and or a head coach. And when you pick guys like that, so big kid, 6'1", 185, 24, saying hometown Raleigh. He's actually from Winston-Salem. 3 goals, 2 assists, and 12 games played. So that's a decent pick for San Diego, but.
And like you said, I mean, chances are not chances, but there is a chance here that maybe they picked him up because he could be trade bait later on for Winston-Salem.
Yeah, exactly right. That's right. One guy I expect to see soon is maybe Jemayev. Mm-hmm. He's from out in Colorado.
And he's got experience at all levels.
Yep, right. And here it is. And Jemayev goes to Fresno. So, good call there. Good call. But, another guy on my list from out that way, right? So, this Fresno team is looking dangerous. It is. You got Austin Albrecht. He had 2 points per game in Monroe. Then you got two-headed goaltender situation with Skinner and McNamara. And now you just added Jemayev, and you know a lot about Jemayev from being in Watertown.
I do, yep.
And kid's unreal, big body. Last year I seen him throw fists more than I've ever seen him throw before in Columbus, and 6'2", 201. I mean, it's definitely a good pickup from Fresno.
No, absolutely.
So Stockton, I'm kind of looking at this at my little board here. You still got 2 guys from out that way that I'm kind of looking at. You got one in Chase Davari, which was in Watertown this year. Speedy guy.
Speedster, yep.
Yep. And then you got a Zach Ross who he actually played for Blue Ridge a little bit, and he got moved to come from Watertown, if I'm not mistaken, and then went to Indiana. So. And he's from Oregon, so he's got that West Coast kind of.
West Coast swing, yep.
Yep. Now it might be a couple rounds later, but a good solid defenseman that late is a good pickup for somebody. So
Yeah, when the league first announced 3 California teams, I was thinking, this could be trouble, but
right.
I think that they're off to a good start here, especially adding 3 teams, not just one. If it was one, there might be some issues here, but considering they're going to have their own, probably like you said, Western Division.
Yeah, correct.
They'll see each other a lot, though. That's for sure.
Exactly. And looking at it now, I think Binghamton is through with the picks, right? McNamara, Emery, Cervoni, and Kirby. So there's nobody else from there can be taken. So Binghamton's done. Then you have Columbus that's done. Baton Rouge ain't had nobody yet, so you can start looking for Baton Rouge to start getting taken a little bit. No, excuse me, Don Carter Jr. was taken from there. Yep. So one Baton Rouge. Okay, so somebody from Baton Rouge that's still out there that I see that might be you got Lucas Pekarsik, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter Alden. He's from Washington, so that might be another West Coast guy that a team out there look at. So that's your Stockton. You have a big name that's still out there too, from Blue Ridge, and Mike Mercurio.
Mm-hmm.
And he hasn't been picked up yet. So that's going to be another one that you're going to see come off the board soon, I believe. You still have Caden Henry that's still out there from Blue Ridge.
Round 4, pick 20, Chris Mott.
And that's another good pick for him. And I don't know if you see what I'm seeing, but I see a lot of guys if you look at Mid-South, you see a lot of Binghamton, right? If you look at Minnesota, you see a lot of Blue Ridge. If you're looking at, that's 2 guys from Winston-Salem to Stockton, and you see, who come from Winston-Salem or worked there for a while, Scott Brand.
Mm-hmm.
So you see some connections with all these guys, right? So Chris Mott, that's a really good pickup. If he'd go out there, that's going to be another good pickup for him because he speedy, tough, can shoot the puck. So he was in Athens a lot this year, and plus he was in the FPHL a little bit too. So
mm-hmm.
he's another guy. Let's see. Has anybody from Watertown been picked yet? I don't think so.
I don't believe so.
Or Danbury. Yeah. So
save the best for last, maybe.
Yeah, maybe so. From Danbury, Chance Adrian's got picked from Danbury, so they still got 3 more guys to go from there. To me, I'm thinking probably. I don't want to say the whole list because it wouldn't be fair to the teams, but there's a couple guys. There's an Austin Pickford that's still out there too.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody looking for a tough defenseman who can run your power play, he's definitely one that's out there that can go and do it. Indiana, there's if I had to, from the list I see, if I had to pick one guy, Chris Kerr is already from there. He went in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
The other guy would probably be, like I said, Zach Ross. A good defenseman, good solid defenseman, who's not afraid to get physical. You still got a couple guys from Monroe that's still up there. Let's see, one more guy from Monroe to be picked, and there's a couple good guys on there. I can see a Chris Branch or Sam Turner going somewhere. So Port Huron still got 3 more picks left. Let me see. And there's some big names on this, some good names.
Mm-hmm.
You got a Brian Parsons, a Jamie Bussell, so there's a couple guys that's on there that, if I had to start a team, I'm a huge fan of Jamie Bussell. If I had to start a team, he would be one of my first picks.
Absolutely.
It's tough. He can skate. He's not afraid to get physical, and he can also score, right? And he's a smart kid as well. So that's another one as well. So right now they're on a little break. They're talking to Johnny Ruiz. Glad Johnny Ruiz is doing better, and that's good to see. So
100% after everything he's been through.
yeah. So you want to talk about a little bit about these about the teams and all that? That's I know we came in late, so the draft order, of course, is Minnesota, Mid South, Oceanside, which, like you said, they're announcing their coach tomorrow or one day this week, correct?
Correct. Last I knew it was tomorrow. It was a little bit confusing because they did say Wednesday, June 8th, and I'm just assuming they meant June 10th.
Yeah, yeah. So so they'll announce their coach soon. The Fresno, they I think they just announced their general manager, Jimmy Freeze, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
They just announced him, and of course we know. I think Parker Moscow is helping them out there as well. You can tell with these picks that he's got a hand in it as well. And of course,
bringing in some guys that he's familiar with. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, Stockton. Our friend Scott Brand is there, and you can tell by I'm not sure if he's making the calls or if there's somebody else out there that's helping him, but you can tell he's very defensive minded for that team so far. So, like I said, that's the 5 teams, and of course, and like I said, Minnesota, they just got a GM right now. They don't have a head coach or a head of hockey operations. So, our good friend Dave Smith, Dave Smith has been with FPHL for a long time, and he's been a scout and everything. He's actually helping them with the drafts, and he's doing quite well as well. So, like I said, there's some surprises, people going that early, but but it's a very good draft so far.
Absolutely. So we'll just use like Mid South for example. I know that Andreas Johansson's taken over that club, and with Mac Jansen as being the head coach, I'm sure they're probably working together in cahoots, making their picks together.
Right.
Minnesota, like you said, they just had their GM. He's relying on Smitty to help out. What do you think is going on in Oceanside, or have you no idea?
I'm not quite sure. I think the new coach that they do have there, I think he is making the calls on the hockey side. I think probably Parker and Scott may be out there kind of handling that till they get a GM in place.
Right. I just found their picks kind of interesting and solid, considering we don't know much about the team quite yet.
Right. Well, if you look at their picks, you got a big kid from Carolina, Cole Crowder, and then they got another kid from Winston-Salem, Kay Hanley from the Thunderbirds. So so that's 2 guys off the Thunderbirds there, and then Zachary DeMorsay, I want to say he started off the season in Binghamton, if I'm correct, and then got moved to another team, and I can't remember what Danbury actually, and or he was with Danbury, he got moved to another team. Can't quite remember. I'm sorry, but and then of course their last pick was Frankel, Winston-Salem, North Carolina kid that came from Danbury as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that's the only one I can't tell, right? You don't know where he gets his information and stuff from, all these players, but and it may be something where he was friends with Coach Harrison or something, or something like that. So you just, like I said, you just don't ever know. But like I said, Fresno right now, to me, is having probably the best draft out of everybody. Austin Albright, if he goes to Fresno, that's their leading scorer, that's their top guy, that's their main guy, right? And to get that in a draft, it's be given to you without having to sign a free agent guy, it's huge. And then be able to get like a Dyson Skinner. I remember playing Dyson Skinner last year in Carolina, in Twin City, and he was lights out, right? So that's another guy. Of course, we all know McNamara. He was playoff MVP last year, won 3 cups. I mean, that's an unbelievable get for a third round, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, he just got Jemayev. And like I said, we all know what Jemayev can do. I think he scored 40 goals or almost 40 goals with Watertown.
Mm-hmm.
Just they're having an unbelievable round so far.
And again, just to kind of reiterate for fans that are maybe new to the league, like California teams or Minnesota, um, just because these teams are choosing these players does not guarantee that they will be suiting up for those teams. That
Correct.
just means that these teams own their rights.
That's exactly right. And we can look at it 2 ways from a GM standpoint, right? I can say I'm gonna get the best player on the board. Because if he comes, fine, great. If he don't come, I have a huge trading piece for a guy that will come, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I can shop this guy around to these teams and say, I have a major asset that I'm looking to get rid of. I would like this piece and this piece for this player here, for this best player that was in the draft. So you can do it like that, or you can actually go get the player and try to get him to come to you and be a part of the organization that you're building. So there's
Right.
2 different ways to look at it, right? If I get to the 5th round, there's really not guys out there. I'm gonna take the best player available, and so I can move him if I need to get another asset that will come into play.
Absolutely.
So
And they are getting back to the draft here in just a moment,
okay,
it looks like.
so we're going into round 5 now.
And also, not all the time, but a lot of times you see, if, for example, if a player is drafted by Stockton and they're
Mhm.
like, I don't want to come out there, I want to play on the East Coast. A lot of times, these coaches and GMs will do their best to get the player to where they want to go.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean the right coaches. If you're a good coach in this league, you're going to try to get a player to where he wants to go because he's going to excel there, right? But as a GM or a coach, you got to make sure you get the right return for him, right? You can't just
Mm-hmm.
say, "Hey, look here, I want you to go and be happy," but you also got to worry about your organization as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And um, and so that's one of the big things. So Austin Pickford, Minnesota.
I watched him in Elmira, and he's also another speedster.
Yeah, he's tough on the back end. He finishes checks. He gets under your skin. We did a lot of research on Austin Pickford last year in Blue Ridge because we about pulled the trigger for a trade to bring him in last year, and we just could never get it worked out. But 6'1", 200 pound. Last year he had 4 goals, 9 assists in 38 games. He's been in the league for a few years, so he's a veteran. I think if he goes to Minnesota, that's another big piece for them out there. And you got to remember, he also played for Elmira and the Hudson Valley.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember, Schmidt had something to do with both of these to help those teams out as well. So you can see kind of, he knows this player and he knows what kind of what this player brings. So I think that's a good pick for a round 5 pick. I think it's a really good pick for Minnesota.
No, I think the league having a resource like Schmitty is really beneficial in general. I mean, I'm sure he has a hand, or at least he's probably got the phone in his hand right now, speaking to a few of these teams, just giving some insights.
Oh, he does it all the time. Yes.
Yeah.
So there was many times last year say, look here, I had this guy. I seen him there because I think I was a better fit than calling you, as a GM or whatever. So Damon Furseth going to Monarchs. Another Blue Ridge Bobcat off the board. I think they're done. Damon is a really good player, and he got called up last year. He come from the NAHL. His background. He's a big time. He sets guys up, and I think with the roster they have, to have a guy like that to set guys, be a setup guy, is
Mm-hmm.
huge. It's very huge. That is very surprising to me, though. That and I just want to say this before we get on. It's hard for these coaches and teams to keep all their players, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's some good players that's going to be left over that these coaches don't want to move or let go. but they have to, right? I know I talked to Coach Zemlika in Blue Ridge, and he didn't want to get rid of Reller, but the way he's built his team, he had to keep the 13 guys he was best in his style, right?
Mhm.
He didn't want to let Rosenbach, but there's only so many spots that you can save, right? So and so first Seth to mid south is huge, right? So it's another good pick by Mac Jansen and them. And there's a little connection there as well with Mac and Coach Zemlika from Blue Ridge. They played together, and they're friends. They played in Roanoke,
Mhm.
so they talk as well. So first Seth's name could have came up, and that could have been the pick. So, but Justin Jammer. He's another guy that's from out in, I think, California or whatever. Justin Jammer from Port Huron. And a big kid. I didn't see a lot of him. They're showing now that he's fighting the Watertown Wolf guy. Adam Zimmerman. Zimmerman's a tough kid, and Jammer did pretty well against him. So, college kid coming out, good pick. 6'3", 205. Every team needs grinders and toughness, right? So
Mhm.
I think Oceanside picked that up with Jammer, and we'll see. We'll see how he does out in California. And like I said, I think he's from out that way, if I remember right. So yeah. So Fresno next pick. I'm looking at a Monroe pick. Let's see what's left. They don't need no more goaltending. Somebody like who's still available there, a Sam Turner, right? A veteran
Uh,
defense. Now Sam could be retiring. We don't know, and that's something we want to point out as well. We don't know. They might already talk to these people. We don't know
mhm.
who's retiring, who's not retiring. Yeah. But I mean, I know he's on the board still. Somebody else that hasn't had any players taken yet is, if I were looking at it right, is Topeka.
Right. I did just verify too. It looks like Jamer is actually from Ottawa.
Okay.
I remember seeing his profile, and
Okay.
something didn't seem right on the graphic they showed.
Right. Another goaltender to Fresno. Wow. Josh Rosenzweig. From Topeka. I don't know where to go with this. That's three goaltenders heading to Fresno. Again, with all these new teams, maybe the goaltending is going to be spread out so much. Again, like we talked about earlier, this might be a trading pick, right? They might call a team that's needing a starting goaltender and say, look here, I'll trade you Rosenzweig, McNamara, whoever for this player here, right?
Right. And what I have seen in the past too is teams that will, get a few goaltenders, they'll let it kind of duke it out preseason, determine who their top two is, and they'll use the third one as trade bait.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. And that goes to fifth round. Bet one of the best, try to go for one of the best players on the board, or a player that somebody's going to want or need in the future, right? So that's an interesting pick, right? So
Right. And, Josh is coming out of Toronto. He's playing the OHL with Niagara. He has a bunch of Fed experience with Watertown, Athens, and Biloxi, and I think he had a stint in the SP as well, if I remember right.
Yep. Sam
Yep.
Turner.
3 games with Quad City, if I can speak English here.
Yeah. Sam Turner going to Stockton. So I think that finishes Monroe's pick as well. Sam Turner, a smart kid, really smart kid. It's a funny story. When I was in Binghamton, he was actually my roommate. So really smart kid. Good defenseman. He's a captain type of player, and
Hmm.
that might be one that they getting out there to be that type of guy, right? Um, so yeah, so Sam Turner's 32, 5'10", 190 from Missouri, 8 goals, 29 assists. So I mean that good solid defenseman, but can put the puck in net and got that breakout pass as well. So good pick by Stockton for a round 5 pick.
Yeah, I remember when he first came in the league with the Dashers.
Yep, yep. He like I said, he's a really good pick by them at round 5. Again, that might be one of those things where they picking. He may not go out there, but they got a good asset to
Hmm.
turn if that's the case. Um, so one team I don't see. Indiana's only had they had 2 players off the no, 1 player off the board so far, and that's Chris Kerr. So they still have 3 more they have to move. Um, you know, there's like I said, to me, I think a Zach Ross is probably going to head out to the West Coast somewhere. Um, there's Dalton Anderson maybe that can head somewhere. That's
Hmm.
the 2 that's probably can head out and go somewhere, right? Watertown, they still got Chase Tabari, who I think might head out that way. Um, so let's see who Minnesota goes back with here.
Yeah, a quick
Lucas
reminder,
Robinson.
if you are following the stream, make sure you're subscribing to us. Same thing with the Fed. I see that they just started up this YouTube channel. There's over 1,300 people watching, and they got 300 subscribers. So help them out.
Yeah, that's great on their part. Um, so Lucas Robinson, we know a lot about Lucas Robinson as well because uh, we were close to bringing him in as a college player last year and the year before. So we had 2 years of looking at this kid. He went to Lawrence University ACHA. Um, really good, puck moving defenseman. Going to be a real good Fed player. And so Minnesota got him. 6 foot, 181, and 20 only 23 years old. So that's a good little young piece that they have there. Um, you know, that'll be probably be cheap on the salary cap as well. So and that's what and that, again that's something else you have to look at when you're doing these drafts is these guys, what are they making? Are they going to fit into your cap? You
Hmm.
know, and stuff like that. So you have so many elements that go along with it when you do this kind of stuff. There's a lot of research. I'm sure these coaches has been going through um, um, these for 2 or 3 weeks now, just going through rosters and seeing what. All right, so here's Baton Rouge and Mid South. Lucas Pekarsik. That's he was in Biloxi Breakers, 14 goals, 23 assists. At the beginning of the season, Lucas Pekarsik was on the hottest line in the FPHL. He was between um, Caden Henry and Yademakov.
Hmm.
And they put up crazy numbers at the beginning of the season for Biloxi. Um, 14 goals, 23 assists. If you can get a 14-goal scorer in the 6th round, I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's
Absolutely.
yeah, that's huge. So good pickup by Mac Jansen. I love the way they're working their draft. Um, and I and and I'm sure that he has a lot of friends that he's played with in the past that's probably going to come to Mid South. So you're looking at a guy like this guy who might be on his 3rd line,
Hmm.
scored 14 goals last year. So that's huge for him. You can look at the last 3 picks right there: Chance Adrian, Damon Furseth, and Pekarsik, and that can be his 3rd line right there already, right? And Tyson Kirby on the front as well. So I think they're doing really well in mid South as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Mac Jansen already making his presence known, right?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, he's a smart guy. He come from a good teams. He was coached by Dan Bremner in Roanoke. You know, he was coached by Brant Sherwood in Binghamton. So yeah, so I mean, he understands. He's an older guy. He's a smart guy, so he picks it up, right?
Mhm.
He knows what he needs.
Now, someone just asked a great question here too. Where can I see the complete updated draft picks? Do you think the league will announce something later on that has a breakdown of every team and their picks if we missed any?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure they will. They will probably have it on the FPHL website, and so yeah, so I think they will have it on there. Nathan Carl going to San Diego, Oceanside. So we did a little research on Nathan Carl last year as well when we looked at brought him in last year. He was in Knoxville, which we worked closely with Knoxville, and he was cut, and we was talking to him. We was full at the moment, but we was gonna bring him in, and he went to PD instead because they
Mm-hmm.
had a spot right open for him, so he went there. Um, Good, speedy player, smaller player, 5'9", 165. Can play in this league, no problem. If I had, he's probably a second to third line guy, and being a round 6 pick, that's probably what you're getting right now with that. So again, that's a good decent pick for Oceanside.
Mm-hmm. I think that some of these stats and some of these graphics are doing some of these players a little dirty, but
Yeah. You know, and that's the thing about it. I'm sure they're going off Elite Prospect, and sometimes Elite Prospect don't update their players, right?
right.
I remember looking, you know, at a kid that we signed, and it had, you know, 5'8", 5'9", blah blah blah. He gets there, he's 6'1", 200 pounds. Like,
Mm-hmm.
where did this guy come from, right? So they definitely don't, you know, get the updates on Elite Prospect, you know, on some of these.
Right. That last pick with Nathan Carl, they kind of just showed his short stint with PD, but
Yeah.
didn't go into depth with the SPHL experience he had.
Right, exactly. And you know, John Gursky's in Knoxville. Um, they did, you know, he told me that he's a good player. You know, so we believe what they say up there. You know, when your peers, coaches, and all that tell you this guy can play,
Mm-hmm.
you don't take it for granted, right? And so we was looking to bring him in again, and yeah, he went to PD instead. So really good. I think he'll be a really good player in this league for sure. So Caden Henry to Fresno. Um, Now let me make sure I'm right here. How many? One, two. Okay, yeah, that's four. That's four for Blue Ridge. So Blue Ridge is done. Caden Henry, the most dynamic guy in the FPHL last year, right? Um, we made a trade for him, yeah, to come and play the playoffs for us, but of course he was in Macon. They
Mm-hmm.
made the playoffs, and he just couldn't get down here in time. So that's this guy is going to be in the East Coast Hockey League next year, more likely. So
Right, and even just look at these stats right here: 15 goals, 21 assists in just 17 games played, and they're picking him up this late in the draft. That's
right,
impressive.
yeah, that's huge. Now that's probably because they know that he probably won't be playing in this league next year, right? Um, he's got a good opportunity to go to the ECHL and get a starting there, right? I mean, he was the rookie of the year last year. I mean, you see, he played 17 games in the FPHL. Then he went to the SPHL and became rookie of the year for that league last year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how good a player that Caden Henry is. And unfortunately, I don't think we'll see him in this league.
But again, that goes back to we are just choosing his rights. Now
Right.
we can trade his rights to another team for an actual player who will show up.
Exactly right. If he's willing to come to the league, that's the biggest point of it all. I don't think he'll be in this league, right? Now, if
Mm-hmm.
he drops, yes, that's huge. This is a huge pickup right here. If Jamie Bussell goes to Stockton, they just picked Jamie Bussell in round 6. 5'11", I would say more like 6 foot, 200 pound. He had 10 goals, 20 assists last year, but penalty minutes. and he was one of the toughest guys there. He's a glue guy. That's a huge pickup. He started out in Binghamton, not the year before. Huge pickup for them in round 6 if he goes to Stockton. Now, talked to a couple of GMs earlier, a couple of owners, and they made a good point. Just because these guys go to these teams, that don't mean Port Huron can't call and make a trade back for Jamie Bussell, or Columbus go and call and get Jamaef back, right? So there's, like I said, there's so much going into it. Just because they go into the teams, until they sign a contract, they just own the rights.
Right.
So
now I don't know Jamie's story, but I did just see, he's an Ohio guy. Maybe one of those Midwest teams are like, hey, maybe we can entice him to come play for us, be close to home.
Well, he was assistant captain in Port Huron, and I got a good feeling that Port Huron is going to be calling, if they ain't already try to make a deal out for him.
Scott's phone is probably ringing already.
Right, exactly. So I know Matt Graham's probably on the phone right now calling Scott. Look here, what's it going to take to get Jamie Bussell back in a Port Huron uniform next year? Now that's if he decides he's playing next year. He could hang him up and go get a real job, as they say, right?
Right.
So Minnesota, round 7 is going with Bailey Huber, another goaltender.
A lot of goaltenders in this draft.
Well, goaltenders is going to be spread out this year, I got a feeling, right? It's going to be hard to find a good starting goaltender this year. His number's 266 and 8.9 on Port Huron. That's really good. He had incredible numbers in juniors, Bailey Huber did. And I think Minnesota did a good job here as well. I mean, now you got a Kerr and you got a Bailey Huber in net for you to start out a new franchise, to start working on bringing players in, all that, right? So
now, I'll say mostly for the past probably 10 seasons in the FPHL, there's honestly been probably 6 to 10 teams for the most part each year. With that being said, your goalie 1, your goalie 2, and your goalie 3 all could be starting goalies in this league. Now, do you think now with 17 teams, there's going to be more opportunities or less?
I think there's going to be more opportunities for college players. It's just, again, it's somebody like a Bailey Huber or Chris Kerr. They got a year experience of pro, right? A Connor McNamara, MVP in this league, to get him in, and I keep saying in a round 3, that's huge. Schromer, for example, Blue Ridge. Anthony Strum came in year 1 and had a 1.97 in 3 games with the Blue Ridge coming from college, right? And you see that helped him for the year 2, and that was last year. So he became a starter and went through the season, and he got better and better as time goes. All right, so Mid-South, Darian Benchick from Watertown.
But again, these guys going late in this draft, and you said, they're still scoring 13, 15, 18 goals.
And this draft is real deep, and for a player like that to go round 7, again, Mid-South, Benchick's a really good player, and we did a lot of research on him as well, and that's really, really good pickup by Mac Jansen. I'm impressed on his whereabouts on these drafts, being his first one and everything, and he's doing a really good job. Really good job. Can't say enough about how the fans are going to feel about having a Mac Jansen as a coach. I think Andre Hansen made the right decision on bringing him in. So back to goalies, though. Yeah, it's one of those things where you need to. It's a lot better to have an experienced goaltender in there, and instead of a rookie, bringing in a rookie. So that's what I'm saying. These guys here they're picking up is a lot better. I'm sorry, Ryan Gill going to San Diego.
California kid.
Yep. The thing about it is, last year he left Watertown to go coach youth or juniors in Dallas. So I'm not sure if he's going back to that or he might go home and play some more. We brought Ryan Gill in at the beginning of the season. Ryan was consummate professional, right? I mean, he was good in the locker room. The guys loved him. Good player, and we had to make a call. We sent him up to Watertown, and he was for a while he was leading scorer in Watertown. So he's a very good player that they picked up if he goes to San Diego in a round 7. So let's see who Fresno goes with this. Okay. So Landon Johnson actually was in Monroe. And so, again, that goes back to Parker Moscow relationship with Monroe.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think in 24 games, he had 3 goals, 4 assists. So I mean, very good pickup. 5'11", 190. You know, a decent defenseman. He's probably a 4 or 5 if I had to guess. But again, building the roster, right? So, and I think it's a good move for Parker and Fresno. So.
I'm not sure what city he's in, but I do remember Sean Reynolds used to play for the Elmira Enforcers.
Yes.
And I do know that he hung up the skates back in, I think it was 2020, moved back to California to become a police officer. So now that there's a couple of Cali teams, I wonder if he could sign a celebrity contract somewhere.
Yeah, I think so. Chase Tabari heading to Stockton.
Solid pickup for them as well.
Yep, round 7 pick, Stockton, California kid. I think 4 goals, 13 assists. I don't think he had a great year last year in Watertown. I think he's a lot better than his numbers last year. From Ladero Ranch, California. So I do remember him when he was with Twin Carolina a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He was real speedy, real good player. He's been a good player throughout the whole league, and if he goes out there, I think he'll still carry that being a good player out there with him as well. So Stockton, a good pick, round 7.
Right. He had a little bit of a down year last year, but I mean, even previous years, I mean, he's still sitting at 27 and 31 points respectively.
Yeah,
past 2
exactly
seasons.
right. Exactly right. And like I said, he's bringing experience, right? You got a veteran you're bringing in, and being a veteran who can still play in this league and teach a young organization is a good thing. I mean, it's one of those things that, again, as a GM, I will look at that, right? I'll look at this player. He can come in, especially if I got a young coach or something. This player can come in and help out a young coach, right? So Hunter Alden to Minnesota.
Round 8, pick 36.
Yep. Now Hunter was he was in Athens for a while, and I think he was there last year, and I think he got moved this year. He didn't have a great year. 2 goals, 7 assists in 33 games. I think he's a better player than what his numbers had last year. I think going to a young team like that, I think he's going to get playing time, and I think that's what he needs.
Right, and I mean, just fresh out of college, this was only his second season.
Right, and he played good. He played in a good D3 college, so he's got a big upside. I don't think he just got the playing time he needed. Although I think he was in Baton Rouge, I don't think he got the playing time he needed. Right.
Right.
So I think going to a fresh start, new team. I think
went to a SUNY school up here in Plattsburgh, New York.
Yep. Yeah.
Stockton will not make its final pick. 8th round pick will be rolled over and become the first overall pick in Thursday's dispersal draft.
Wow. Okay. So there's some good players in that dispersal draft too.
I seen that the dispersal draft and Stockton announcing their name kind of coincides. Is that on purpose?
Must be. They must already got the person that is going to be out there. Potamanov. Okay. A good defenseman. To be picked up in round 8. Here's the thing about it. All these Indiana players, they're coached by a good coach, right? So when he had 3 goals, 9 assists in 42 games, that don't say a lot, but again, when you got a coach like Eric Thompson who coaches the players right and they learn a lot of stuff from them, these guys are huge picks. Although they're the last picks, these guys are still huge picks because they're coached right. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a good pick. I still got a feeling Zach Ross is going to go, and probably maybe like a Dalton Anderson, maybe. So yeah.
I can't even pronounce this last name. I'll try my best. Maximus Merrick Tortorella.
Tortorella. Okay, they brought him in late. Not a bad pick. I don't know a lot about him. 8 goals, 8 assists in 39 games. So again, these guys are trained or coached right by Everett. So any guy that you get from here, you know, that's going to come in and has some ability when you're doing film and all that, because you know that's something he does as well, right? In coaching Everett. So 6'2", 200-pound, big kid.
So Merrick Tortorella is out of Ontario. He's 23 years old.
Yep.
He's played in the GMHL, 56 points in 42 games.
Okay. And that's in the GMHL. So he's got a decent, you know, he can put the puck in the net. So
yep, looks like he played 1 game in Hudson Valley. Then he had 39 games in Indiana last year.
Okay. Yeah. So Stockton ain't getting. So here's the last pick. Fresno is going to pick. There's a few names on there. I'm trying to think
who's going to be Mr. Irrelevant.
Man, if I had to say, there's 2 names on here that's Zach Ross. Dalton Anderson.
Dalton Anderson. Yep.
Dalton Anderson. Okay.
Dalton Anderson going to Fresno. That is your Mr. Irrelevant FPHL 2026.
Yeah. Well, now it's got me curious on what Stockton has up his sleeve, right? In the draft. On Thursday, right? So it's gonna be fun to see. Like I said, there's a lot of guys that's out there, you know, coming from Athens and coming from Mississippi as well, right? So let me see here what we.
Again, if you are watching, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You're watching FPHL over on YouTube. Go subscribe to their channel. They're putting on a great show for you guys tonight. Still hanging out, over 1,000 people watching. I know it's the tail end, so people are probably jumping off there, but hit that subscribe button before you jump off for them.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, they're doing a lot of good stuff this year, and I hope they keep it going. It needed to get more up to date on media and digital and all that. And I think, you know, with Ken Andrews having more to do with the league this year, and you see the product they put out with the Port Huron Prowlers, you can see a lot of this taking the next step into that more technical technology and all that. And that's what it's been, should have happened a couple years back, right? So, but now they're getting to it, and I think, you know, heading out to California with all that technology out there, they're going to look at it like, okay, so this league is for real, blah blah blah. So that's the good thing about it, is it gives a brighter side to the FPHL, because, of course, we all know the FPHL in the past had some black eyes and all that. Trust me, whoever's watching this, it's a whole lot better than what a lot of people think.
Mm-hmm.
The Federal Hockey League is a premier league, and it's on the rise. You just don't get 18 teams from nothing, right? So
Right.
17 teams. So
And I will say I did miss this comment section was kind of hiding on me, so I apologize.
okay,
Jim Talley, he's been awesome leaving us some comments. Thanks for the commentary. He says, Mercurio, no, he was not protected. But again, that's not to say it wasn't because he wasn't good enough. He may have requested to go play elsewhere. Um, maybe his goals didn't align with the organization's goals.
right.
Usually it's never a bad thing because they're
And,
not protected.
right. And sometimes you got to, I mean, as a GM or a coach, you got to take that gamble sometime, right? You got to roll the dice. And if Zimmy did that on Mercurio and rolled the dice saying, okay, I'm going over all these draft picks, I don't think he's going to get picked. It's not because he's not good. I just don't think he'll get picked or whatever, right? I'm going to roll the dice on this guy, and let's see if we come up a winner. And to me,
Mm-hmm.
I think Zimmy did that, and I think he came up a winner and being able to keep Mercurio in a Bobcat uniform. So if he did, if that's what it was, great job to the Blue Ridge coaching staff,
Mm-hmm.
and to be able to keep somebody like that.
Right. And yep, Jim, I understand the numbers game is what he says. Yeah, obviously, we just like to explain things a little bit in depth for those that
Right.
are new hockey fans,
Right.
just so everyone knows. This league's a little bit different. Rules are a little bit different, especially with a bunch of new teams coming in. There's fans from all over that may never have seen hockey before. We don't know. So that's why we just went a little bit in depth.
Exactly. So, I mean, before we get off here, I think what we ought to do is go over, a little bit what the teams did here and let's grade what each team done on this draft. What you think? Let's
Yeah,
do that.
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So for Minnesota, a new team coming in to the league. Their first pick was a Minnesota native, Brandon Reller. A defenseman, a goaltender.
You mean to pause real quick? Scott Brand is now on the stream.
Oh, there he is. Look at Scott Brand. The camera makes him look 10 pounds lighter. Hey, Scott's doing a great job out in Stockton. Anywhere Scott goes, he does a great job. And I'm happy for him. And like I said, Scott is one of a kind, and he does a great job anywhere he goes. So I'm happy for Scott in Stockton. That's a beautiful building, man. That's a
wicked.
And so he's gonna have fun out there, right? So he's a big country music fan, like old school country. And there's a lot of old school country out there in California people don't know about. So the old Buck Owens and all that, the Bakerfield Sound and all that. So he's all in that. But let's get back to the draft.
Yeah.
The first round for Minnesota, like I said, a Minnesota native, Brandon Reller. Their second pick was round 2 was Chris Kerr. He's out of the AJHL, which was a really good Canadian Junior League. So he's there at number 2 round. Number 3 is Jordan Rosenbaum. Now, everybody's got to remember, Jordan Rosenbaum spent half the season in the FPHL, and he did a really good job in Macon. If you look the last little bit with Blue Ridge, he was a point per game. I know the stats don't show it. There was some miscommunication in stats, but he was a point per game coming into Blue Ridge. So that's a great pickup for him as well. Then you have a Division I goalie in Matt Lenz, going in. So they're kind of securing up their goaltending. Then you got a strong defenseman. So you look at 2 defensemen so far, Rosenbaum and Pickford. That's good. They got a young defenseman who's probably going to be a 5'6" in Lucas Robinson. Young guy, will take a little time to modeling, but has a lot of upside. Then they have another goaltender in Huber. So they got a 3-headed monster there themselves. And then they went with Hunter Alden, who's been in 2 good organizations. So To me, I think Schmidt did a really good job. Um, you have a goal scorer in Reller. You got a pretty solid top pair in Rosenbaum and Pickford already. You got a three-headed monster to battle for that number one spot. So
Mm-hmm.
if I had to say, what do you think on your score on how they done? Well, we could do A plus, B plus, B
Yeah,
minus.
yeah. I was thinking like a B plus, really, just
Okay.
because they it seems like they got a good core.
Yeah, right. And that's all you try to do on that.
Hmm.
So a B plus. I'm thinking I'm gonna go with a B minus. Um, and the only reason I'm saying that is I think I would probably went with one less goaltender
Hmm.
because if you look, Huber went in the seventh round, and then the people behind him that went were uh, Bennett
Hmm.
from Watertown, Landon Johnson, defenseman, Chase Tabari. So you had a few guys below them, below a Huber, right, to pick up. So, um,
Right. You probably could have got some of those players that scored, double points per se
right,
earlier in the round, and these guys would have been available later on.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think Kerr could have went. You could have went in and probably did Kerr in the third round, and then got one more guy, or you probably could have waited to the fourth round to pick him up, with Matt Lentz or whatever, right? So, and picked up another player that's below him. But again, I'm sure they did their research, and so a B minus to Minnesota. Mid South picked up Tyson Kirkby, a leader in the locker room, a leader on the ice. Um, he a goal scorer, could set up, tough,
Hmm.
gritty. Um, a really good player, really good player. When I was in Binghamton, I actually brought him into Binghamton when he got cut from Evansville, right? And I called him on the phone and said, "Hey, look here, I did my research. The kid was unreal in Evansville. He came in and he was everything that and he still is. He's a great guy, and Mid South did a great job picking him up.
Hmm.
Cervone, a decent defenseman. I think they could have waited on him, but again, it's a Binghamton connection, so he's more. I think he's probably going to be one of the on Mid South. He's probably going to be a 5-6, right?
Hmm.
Um, and then Emery, I think he's going to be in that 5-6 range as well, unless they. He also plays forward, so he can go up play forward, and he's a tougher kid, so that gives him a little grit as well.
Right.
Then they picked up Chance Adrian. I really like that kid. I think he's going to do great in this league. That and getting him at round 4 is huge. Damon Furseth, I know what Damon brings. He 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 can set. He's a smart kid. He can set some plays up, and he's got better wheels than a lot of people think. Um, Lucas Pekarchik, scoring, I think we said 14, 15 goals in rounds.
Hmm.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah. Picking up Lucas Pekarchik in the sixth round is huge. Bennett in the seventh round, and Ponarov, a defenseman, in the eighth round. He may make the team, or he might be a trade bait, right? So,
Right.
um, to me, I think I got to give him an A plus. I really
Yep.
do. I really like the way he did this draft, Mac Jansen.
Yep. I was absolutely gonna say A. Like I said, that like you said already, the Cervoni thing kind of threw me off. Again, I understand why they did it so early.
Right,
Um, I would have probably waited another probably 2 rounds. He might have been there still.
right. What?
But like you said, Chance Avery, fourth round, absolute steal, and then Pekarski, awesome.
Yeah, right. And I mean, this is
Or
and get
Pekarsich, I'm sorry,
yeah,
Pekarsich.
and getting Darian Bennett at round 7 is an absolute steal, especially if he's going to go there and play.
Hmm.
Uh, you got depth already in for your team already. So I think they had a really good draft, and I think Mac Jansen is a smart coach, and like I said, I think he's going to do great in Mid South, and I think Andreas Johansson has got another winner on his hands there. So
Yeah, right now Max Jansen just starting off already has a killer core, so
right,
it's only going to get better from here.
right, exactly. So
And with the resources that Andreas brings as well,
Exactly.
Even better.
Yeah, he's gonna be able to bring some guys in and that he knows as well.
As a first-time head coach, he is set up for success.
Yeah, he is. He's in a great building. It's a beautiful building there in the Lander Center. They've been starved for hockey for a little while, so I think the fans are going to show up, and I think they're going to put a winning team on the ice. I really do. So, Oceanside, they went third. Cole Crowder in the first. Cole Crowder probably could have went in the third round, if I had to say. I think they missed a lot of players they could have picked up probably to be the guy. But again, they might have been looking at they might have been looking like, what player can I get here, right? And they might have talked to Cole Crowder and he's willing to go there. So that might be the reason why. Cade Hanley, really good defenseman. He's from out in California. Again, I believe that's probably could have been a round 3 or round 4 pick, right? Zach DeMars, I think that could have been a late 5, 6 round pick. So Frankel, again, that could have been a 7, 8 round pick, right? So after everything I look at for them, I'm gonna have to. I don't want to say this, but I think it's a D plus. I think they could have had a better draft.
Right. I went C just because I did see a few Cali kids, so maybe they're just trying to get a core from California, knowing that they'll show up and not have to worry about the trades. Again, I don't even know who's running the show there.
Right.
So
exactly.
I don't necessarily want to talk down about an organization I'm not familiar with.
Right. And again, my D plus is from a GM perspective, right? I'm looking at it. Would I have did this? Now, again, I don't know the ins and outs of any of these players. I know Cade Hanley is a California kid. I had him on my list, my Midwest West kid. They're talking to the guy now. Okay, so there you go. The guy knows him, right? So that's
that connection we were talking about.
Yes.
And again, sometimes some of these teams, when they're picking up, they're not always looking for the best player. They may just know a guy who knows a guy, and they want to build those relationships. And
exactly right, exactly. And he did play in the FPHL a little bit, right? So he does have FPHL experience. So I mean, again, it's just to me, I think the D plus is the Cade Hanleys and the DeMorsays could have been later picks, and they could have picked up some assets to trade off, and then pick these guys up later, right? So that's where my D plus is coming from. Fourth pick was Fresno, the Falcons, with Parker, Moscow, and all them. I would picking up I would probably say hands down the best player in the draft, Austin Albert, ECHL experience. So it's one of those things where he was in Monroe. He was a 2-point per game guy, over 2 points a game. I mean, you got your star there, right? Now you got your season ticket seller, first pick, right? So you got your face, you got your billboard, and Austin Albert already. So, and then in round 2, picking up a Dyson Skinner. Like I said, I've seen Dyson Skinner play. He can be lights out. He can be your number 1 off the bat. But the biggest thing is picking up Connor McNamara in the 3rd round. I mean, we're talking a MVP, a league MVP goaltender going in a 3rd round, right? There might be something behind this. He might be retiring. He might be moving up. I don't know. I don't know everything behind that. I just know that they picked him up in the 3rd round. And if he comes to Fresno, that's a huge hit. So you got a league MVP and an ECHL player, first 3 picks, right? Then you got Dyson Skinner, who spent half the season last year in the SPHL, right? So that's your first 3 picks. Your 4th pick is a guy who scored, and you can look this up to be sure, but I think he scored 30-something goals in this league with Watertown and Jemaeth,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, and he might have been an MVP or a Rookie of the Year, Forward of the Year, or something that year too. But you picking him up in the 4th round, right? So, to me, you won the draft so far, right?
Yeah.
5th round, to me, I think this is either a move to move Rosenzweig or bring Rosenzweig in and move a Skinner or McNamara for an asset. So I think that's what that 5th round move was with Parker, right?
Mm-hmm.
With Fresno. Then my hands. Who went Fresno in the round 6? Let me see. Who? I can't even read that. Is that out anywhere?
I don't think so. I closed my my chat here.
My handwriting pretty sloppy, but I think it's one of the picks where they got it's trying to think who that was. Anyway, we'll go back to that once we find out who that is. And then your 7th round pick is Landon Johnson. Played a good, decent college, D3 school, coached well, and then you got a veteran like Dalton Anderson, right?
Mm-hmm.
As last pick of the draft. So to me, Parker did everything he wanted to do in this draft, right?
Right.
He's got his goal scorer. He's got his ace out there in Austin Albrecht. He's got goaltending. And he's got scoring in Jemaeth. Now it's one of those things where it's he's got to build his defense out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's next, and that might be something that he's looking to move, Rosenzweig for, or McNamara, or Skinner for a big time defenseman, right? So he has options.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll let you go ahead and go on this one. Tell me what you think his draft score is going to be.
Yeah, this is tough, but I mean, I would probably go A or A minus. I'll say A just because you got an ECHL guy in there. You got Connor McNamara. McAnima. In the 4th round, who
right.
he leads the all-time stats for the Fed in goals against at 2.25.
Right.
So to get a player of that magnitude in the 4th round is huge. And then, like you said,
right.
Anderson and Skinner. I don't know. I'd have to go probably A.
Yeah, to me, he won the draft in the first 4 rounds, right? Because if you compare him to, let's say, Mid-South, he got an Austin Albright, and they got a Tyson Kirkby, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, as a all-around player, Tyson Kirkby's better. But as a goal scorer and all that, you got Austin Albright. So to me, I'm going to say they balance out.
Mm-hmm.
2nd round, you went Cervoni versus Skinner. So to me, as a GM, I know how scarce goaltending is in this league, especially with all these suspension teams, right? Good goaltending, starting goaltending, and getting Skinner in the 2nd round over Cervoni, Fresno won that, right?
Right.
McNamara and Emery, or McAnanoff. I'm sorry, McAnanoff.
I can't even say it either.
Yeah, versus Emery. There's no contest there, right? McAnanoff all day, right? And then you got Jemaeth and Chance Adrian in the 4th. To me, I mean, more upside is Chance Adrian, right? We can see what he's going to do this year. I think he'll have a big year this year. But Jemaeth has proven he's a veteran. I just think Fresno had a better 4th round than that. So, where Mid-South picked up steam is Pekarchik in the round 6 and Benchik in round 7. So, to me, I think it's an A+. I really do. I think both teams evened out.
I don't think you can go wrong. I mean,
right.
A+, A minus.
Right.
They're there.
I think Fresno won the beginning of the draft.
Mm-hmm.
I think um, Mid South won the end of the draft. So I got to give both teams an A+, right? So Scott Brand, the Stockton Branders. Uh, Rasmus Ass. To me, that's a decent pickup. Rasmus is tough. He's been in the league several years. He's a veteran. Um, Probably could have got him a little bit later, but again, we're talking about a California team. So being the first round pick, not bad. I mean, he's a 3-4 in my opinion in this league if you're going to be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Garcia, another 3-4, right, from Athens and Winston Salem. Um, Don Carter Jr. I mean, Don Carter's been around the league for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
He can play forward or defense. He's kind of a utility guy, which is every team needs one of those. He hasn't had the greatest of the year last year, but I think he can. I think he can. He can do well for him. Chris Mott was a really good pickup. If Chris Mott goes to Stockton, he's a top second line, bottom first line guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Speed, he can do a lot of stuff. Sam Turner, veteran defenseman, if he goes out there, really good pickup for a round 5 pickup, right? Stockton really showed that at the end of the draft, they really picked it up. You know what I'm saying?
Even Bucell, yeah.
Right. I mean, from round 4 to round 7, picking Mott, Sam Turner.
And now we have Parker Moskal on the line talking to the Fed guys right now too.
Yep. Okay. Yep. So, picking Turner, Jamie Bucell, and Chase DeBari, last 3 picks of the draft, was really good.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I'm gonna say, I think they're gonna be a C.
Yep. I was gonna say B-.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be a C. And so Parker's on there now.
But overall, collectively, I think between you and I think we're in agreement that we'll number them 1 through 5, right? So I think Fresno had the best draft, Mid-South very close, Stockton 3rd, Minnesota 4th, and probably Oceanside 5th if we had to rank them.
Yeah, I think it's myself. I think it's Fresno 1A.
right.
Mid-South 1B, and then your 3rd best team to me is probably Minnesota.
Oh, you go Minnesota? Okay.
Yeah, Minnesota. I got them at a B+ or B-.
Okay.
And then I got Stockton, and then I got San Diego. Or I'm sorry. Oceanside.
Oceanside, San Diego. We're not sure what the name is quite yet.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I think it was a very interesting draft. I think it was very thought out.
Yeah.
I just don't think people was like, oh, just give me that guy. Sometime in the past, when they get to round 3, it don't matter. Whoever. Yeah, this, whoever. It don't matter, right? This was very calculated. I can see. The Despiral draft is going to be a little different. The first 4 rounds is going to be 5 rounds, maybe. It's going to be first 2 rounds are going to be the ones, right? And then everything after that is going to be, it don't matter, whoever. I'll take this guy or I'll take that guy. Hey, I think it was a great draft. Unfortunately, we got on a little late, and
I'll take the blame for that. We had some technical difficulties, folks. So appreciate you hanging on and jumping in.
It definitely happens, and I had some good notes laid out and everything for a pre-show, but it's okay. It's okay. So, I think you're doing a great job with Bench Minor.
Appreciate that.
I think in stuff like this is definitely going to help generate and push it to where it needs to go. And I appreciate you having me on and everything. And I just want to say good luck to all the FPHL teams this year, all the coaches and all the GMs. This is not easy. This is a lot of work, especially in the summertime. You just got through with the season, right? A long season. You're tired. You wore out. You want to go on vacation, and then you have this right here, right? So
Right.
you got to start working on this and the players and the drafts. But guess what? Also, you got to do, and you know this very well. You also got to sell. You got to sell season. You got to sell corporate. So, and plus, you need a break. So, I just want to say I appreciate what the GMs and coaches do in this league. It's not just show up and hope for the best.
Mm-hmm.
This is a professional league, and there's a lot of hard work goes into this league, into the front offices and the coaching. And I just want to say, I seen it firsthand. I was in the trenches for years, and I know what they do. And I just want to wish them good luck this year. And I want to wish the FPHL good luck this year and everything. And I'm sure me and you will be talking on the FPHL a little bit this year and everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's have a great year.
100%. Well, appreciate you jumping on. And again, like you said, to all the fans out there, lots of new teams in the league this year. We're super excited. 17 teams expected to play this season. As I still talk to Parker Moskal here, so I'm just kind of listening to what he's saying.
Yeah.
But no, we're super excited to get this rolling here. A lot of moving parts with, some teams departing for other leagues, new teams coming in. It's not easy. There's a lot of paperwork involved. It's a process. It's not just teams jumping ship.
And the biggest thing, and there's a big twist to this whole thing, right? And we haven't mentioned it, right? Is the whole PD Ice Cat situation and what they're going through, right? There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes at both parties, right? And we don't know if they're going to be in the SPHL this year. We don't know if they're going to be in the FPHL this year. We can only speculate that they're going to be in the SPHL, but we're not 100% sure, right? Only thing we can hope for is there is hockey in PD this year in Florence, right? And I'm in Florence now, and I want to see. This is where I'm from. This is my area for people who don't know. I just want to see it succeed here, right? And I don't care if it's the SPHL, FPHL. I don't know. I don't care if it's the Ice Cat current owners or it's the new owners or old owner or whatever, right? I just want it to succeed here. And the biggest twist is going to be on Thursday for this burial draft. PD's not in it, right? So
Correct.
From what I'm hearing, PD's players might be free agents if they do go to the SPHL. So they can sign with anybody. Now, this is the FPHL. The Board of Governors can change that just like that, right? Then they can have their own small draft for just PD players. So we'll see in the next few weeks or what happens with PD and all that. I do know it's the SPHL's league meetings coming up, and I think a lot of stuff is going to get worked out then. And just got to keep our eyes out the next couple of weeks for PD and for a decision. So.
Yeah, and I will say too that the owner of the Ice Cats, he has been jumping on, recording videos, being very transparent. So
right.
I mean, as a spectator and as a fan, someone like me appreciates that.
Yeah, no, I mean, and trust me, the people here in Florence, I'm like I said, I'm from here, so I seen it. I worked here before in the hockey team, and I'm from here. So transparency is a big thing here, right? They don't like to be kept in the dark, and I try to take that everywhere I went. Every place I've been, as you see, I put out stuff about the team, what's going on, to keep everybody updated that I can. There's some stuff you got to understand that can't be said or can't be done at the time being, or don't need to be done, right?
Oh, Mac Jansen's now on. Didn't mean to cut you off there.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, Mac, like I said, Mac had a really good.
He's all smiles for good reasons, right?
Yeah, I would be too. Yeah,
I'd be smiling if I was in his shoes right now.
He's starting off pretty well, right? So, but yeah, back to PD and yes, it's good that the owners get on there and talk to their fans and all that as well. So, and be transparent. They have owners that really care about the team, and that's a good thing, right? So, like I said, in the next couple of weeks, just kind of keep your eye out on stuff that's going on in PD. with the SPHL or the FPHL with players from there and all that. And of course, watch out, Thursday, I think it is. I think the Despero draft. Some of these players where they're going. There's going to be some players that it's going to be some big pickups from right, and so you just got to watch that. Now with Stockton taking the number 1 pick, that's got me wondering. I might have to make a phone call to old Scotty Brown and ask what's going on. That's got me wondering. But there's, like I said, there's some really good guys that's up for it. Athens, of course, there's going to be a lot of players picked from Athens.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those guys are going up, are going to the SPHL with them, right? So there'll be a lot of these guys, but you got to start looking at the lower end guys or the bottom tier guys that might not make the SPHL team or whatever, right? Like the Luke Crouchers and the Jesse Lowells. Here's one name that I it'd be a huge pickup is a Mike Greco, right?
Right.
If he don't go up to the, we know Virgilia's played in the SP before. We know Shakira can play it. Matt Sells, another goaltender out there, right? So that's another one. You got William Lavier. We don't know if he can. He might be one of those last cuts for the SP, right? Carter McPhail. He had a great year. I think he can play in the SP, right? So you got Brandon Picard, who could be up. So there's so many names that's on this list that might not make it to the SP that a team can pick up and use wisely. One name that comes to mind is Gleb Van Durken, right? Me personally, I think he can play in the SP, no problem. But it's one of those things where, the team that picks him might say, "Hey, look here, he's making $325 league minimum in the SPHL. I can pay him $400 here. Would you come here?" Right? So it's one of those things where a team can buy him out from going up, whatever picks him up. So that's a big thing. Biloxi, they have a few guys. This is not knocking Biloxi. Don't get me wrong, because every player deserves it. You play, and a lot of these guys. These teams going to need guys to bring to camp and fight for a position, right? So that's where these guys come into effect. You got a couple guys there. Carter Thornton, Zach Pamaleon. I'm sure Danbury would love to have Zach Pamaleon back. You know what I'm saying? Or even a Watertown would love to have a Zach Pamaleon. You got a Garrett Johnson that was in Watertown. All right. Ross Bartlett. We all know Ross. Ross he can put the puck in the net, right? So he's available. So it's one of those things where it's going to be a good first couple rounds of the draft coming up. So be sure if they do it live, be sure to tune into that for them or whatever, right? So
absolutely. So just some closing remarks here. If I got my dates right, Stockton announcing a coach tomorrow. FPHL San Diego announces their coach tomorrow.
Right.
Then Stockton announces their name on Thursday.
Maybe, yeah.
That's the dispersal draft. Coincides with that. Yep.
It's coming up, right.
This week is busy, I tell you.
Yeah, it is.
I keep thinking today's Wednesday for some reason. So
there's a lot of good stuff. And I'm sure, it's past June 1st. So you already seen a couple big signings from Columbus, right? They got a kid that played in the NAHL, I believe, and I think he played in the OHL. I'm not hold me to that, but they picked up that kid, and they picked up a 6'7", 250-pound Finland kid that I've done a lot of research on, and the kid he's a huge kid, but he's got hands and he's got feet, right? He's got good boots, so he's going to be a plus to a Columbus team that could be losing a couple guys due to being veterans, or like a Jemayev, if he don't come back, that could be a guy you could put right in there, big power forward who can score goals. So that's huge. I can't remember if there's been any more signings or anything yet on teams. I think Danbury signed somebody today, right?
Yes.
A GMHL kid that's a big kid who can put the puck in the net. So, start looking out for signings. You know, I know there's a lot of signings already happened. They just ain't announced yet, right? It's going to go out throughout the summer. So just keep an eye out there, and you know, and just remember these guys, these coaches, and all that. They're working hard to recruit all that. So they want to put the right team on the ice. So give them the benefit of the doubt. If they ain't signing the guy you like yet, don't mean they ain't signed, right? Don't mean
Right.
that they're maybe not coming back. They might be already signed, just ain't put it out yet. So just give them the benefit of the doubt, and let coaches be coaches, let the GMs be GMs,
Mm-hmm.
and the fans be fans, right? Enjoy it.
100%.
So again, Sean, I loved it. I appreciate the time, to come on here and give my so-called expertise, and hope we'll be talking soon. And like I said, great job with the bench miner, getting it back on the
Thank
air.
you.
I think can be really something. I think one day we're going to start a show to called Another Day in Single A. So
That's the motto.
that's
That's on my T-shirt. Say bench miner,
Hey.
another day in single A.
That's it. That motto's been around the FPHL, the SPHL, and everything for I don't know how long. So, and it's still
Right.
good.
Well,
Sean,
I sincerely appreciate you coming on. We'll have you on another show. Again, Benchminer followers, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, we're going to close shop here for tonight. Head over to FPHL at the FPHL on YouTube. They are still covering. So they're doing some exclusive interviews. Right now, we're talking to Mac Jansen from the Mid-South Monarchs. Head over to the YouTube channel. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe to all your favorite teams. Thank you all so much. Have a great night.
See you guys.